In today's video, we're going to be going over the current conditions. We're going to be diving into that tropical activity. There's a couple of updates in that, and then the upcoming pattern as well. Let's just get straight into things, though. And as we can see, first things first, there's some activity going on in the Four Corner states around here. I heard a lot of people in Arizona complaining that precipitation wasn't over the state of Arizona. It was only over New Mexico. Now you can see it's only over Arizona and not New Mexico. So I think everybody's getting their fair share down there in the Four Corner states. Really good to see there. Now for the upper Midwest regions in the north central United States, kind of northern plains area, we do also have quite a bit of precipitation up here. This is an area that's been seeing a lot of precipitation actually, and some thunderstorms there on the southern end. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And then for the southeast, there is some storminess offshore, nothing we're not used to here, but this could come on shore at certain points. And then there's some showery activity up here for Maine, also something that's been happening a lot. And then for the Gulf states here, we do have some activity there as well. Let's just take a look here at the southwest first things first. And as we can see, this is mostly lighter precipitation. I do see some heavier pockets actually popping up there in Arizona, as well as portions of Colorado as well. We're seeing some of that take place. So we're seeing quite a bit of activity from multiple different states down here, quite a bit of precipitation. Up here in the upper Midwest, we also see quite a bit of activity up here. So we see for the yellow areas, obviously that's going to be our more moderate precipitation. We do see some reds that were popping up earlier for northern Minnesota. Those have kind of dissipated. And then now for the southern portions of Minnesota, we're seeing more of those oranges and reds into Wisconsin as well. And the upper peninsula of Michigan, it actually looks like we're seeing some pretty bad storms down here as well. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, those are popping up. I have no idea why it's so jittery, but we're going to try to pay attention anyway. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's making me kind of lose focus as well. So don't worry, you're not alone. It's a little irritating, but we will make it through it, I promise. As we look towards the Gulf states, we can see here that these storms are expanding and they're impacting states like Mississippi especially, but also a little bit of Alabama, even the panhandle of Florida. They're starting to move onshore to Louisiana here as well. That's a pretty good drawing, actually. And then we can see for the coast of Texas, these storms are getting awfully close. Areas near Houston are starting to see these bad storms move on shore, actually. So we're seeing here near Galveston as well. We're seeing these storms move on shore. And for the more southern shore of Texas, we're going to start to see these storms move on shore eventually as well with this tropical disturbance that is over this region right now. Now, as we move towards the southeast near Florida, we can see that these storms are offshore. Would not be surprised to see the east coast of Florida there start to see impacts from this. Keep that in mind. And then for the Carolinas here, we do see some showery activity taking place as well. And then once again, we move our way up to Maine, and we see that there is some lighter to moderate showers. But these are dissipating as the sun is coming up, and I expect a pretty nice day up there for Maine. That was actually pretty quick. What we're going to do here is we're actually just going to move on really quickly, and we're going to move on to the upcoming pattern. Dive into all of that. Take a look at that upcoming tropical disturbance for the Gulf. Also, that storm that's expected to become a tropical storm down there near South America, and then also some more disturbances coming offshore of Florida. Of Africa. I don't know why I just said that. Of Africa. Now, here we are taking a look at that upcoming pattern. Let's just move it towards this afternoon. We can see the southeast kind of succumbs to some of these storms. They start to pop up all over the place. We do have some activity here kind of around. There's some pockets in here that don't have any of that precipitation, but I think all of this is kind of related up there. And then we have these showers still going on up here for the state of Maine and portions of Canada, although I think there's going to be a lot less of that later on, like I mentioned. As we approach tomorrow, which will be July 1st, so we will officially be in July, we can see a low right here. Also a low here. It's kind of the secondary low right here. But we do see a cold front extending down here from this. So some cooler air is going to be behind this. This is going to be pretty intense. There could be some thunderstorms related to this. We also see some warm, humid air bringing up these thunderstorms for the southeast. So we see this taking place as well. That's for July 1st. As we approach Saturday, July 2nd, we can see a lot of the eastern United States kind of gets in this storminess as the cold front stretches down. We also see some of those southeastern storms move further north, so we're seeing more and more impacts. We also have storminess all around for the northern plains here continuing on. The west is kind of quiet at this point. For July 3rd, this is going to be Sunday, we do see some activity here in the northwest starting up, also for the Four Corner states and areas surrounding there, and then still for the southeastern corner of the nation and all the way up to the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, we see some of this activity taking place in there as well. For Monday, July 4th, we can see that there is some showery activity taking place up here We can see that it's pretty sporadic, but some thunderstorms and showers can't be ruled out. We still have some pretty bad storms up here as well for kind of the Dakotas, Iowa, Missouri, Minnesota, and also up here for the Northwest, we're still seeing some of this activity as well. That's again Monday, July 4th. So if you're anywhere in this storminess, well, let's move it towards the evening hours. This is kind of going to be when fireworks would be. Things get a little bit quieter here for the south, or basically the entire east. We cannot rule out a shower or a thunderstorm, but things are looking nicer for the east. And then for the more north central and northwestern United States, this is where things will be a little bit more problematic, including the four corner states as well, with a little bit of that storminess continuing on. Now for July 5th, we see storminess continuing here for the southeast, so that starts up again. Kind of see this activity diving down just like this. We do see a lot of this up here in Canada and the northern United States up there, and then even down here as well for the four corner states again. Again, that's going to be July 5th. Wednesday, July 6th, we see that this activity continues down here. We also see this activity out here continuing, so we're seeing a lot of the same actually. And then for the 7th, we see the east continues on with the storminess. So the east is going to be pretty stormy, especially later on in this pattern. We're seeing multiple days of this. Even for the 8th here, it's going to be a Friday, July 8th. We see the storminess continue there. Similar areas, again, up here in the northern plains, we're seeing it once more. And then for Saturday, July 9th, we see the southeast has the storminess again. And that's basically the end of things. So the east is looking quite stormy. The west is looking a little quieter than things have been. And also the north central United States sees that continued storminess as well through the upcoming pattern. Let's take a look quickly at that total precipitation through the next 10 days, and this tells the full story. Look at how quiet things look in the west. Obviously, Washington still sees quite a bit, but less than they're kind of used to. The four corner states sees quite a bit of that precipitation. The north central United States sees a lot, and then the southeast sees a lot. That's kind of the two areas that we're watching. The plains into the northern plains in the upper Midwest, and then down through the southeast is where we expect the most precipitation through the next 10 days. If you're anywhere in the whites, you expect almost no precipitation, if not literally no precipitation. The grays will be about 1/10 of an inch or less of precipitation. Your greens will be a 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Your blues will be 1/2 an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be 1 inch to 2 inches. Your reds will be 2 to 5 inches. And then your browns there, like we see for the Carolinas there, and even Illinois as well, and even Texas. I'm seeing a couple areas now that have those browns and grays showing up. That's where we're at 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. So 1/2 an inch to 1 inch of precipitation per day on average over the next 10 days. Pretty crazy stuff, guys. Now for total snowfall, obviously we don't expect that much. We're really seeing things dwindle for this region, maybe due to not a lot of precipitation. I do see some for the mountains of Washington continuing on for the month of July, which is very interesting. Colorado and Utah seeing some down there as well. And we're also seeing some up here, obviously, for Canada still, kind of the northeastern regions of Canada. So I don't know how long this will continue for, the snow showing up on the models, but we might only get 1 month without snowfall in the United States, and it'll probably be August. If that, we might see, I mean, who knows at this point, we might see some in August, but only time we'll be able to tell. We'll continue to show this daily, mostly just because it's just interesting to me. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards that temperature pattern, and then the tropical activity, and then the severe weather. All right, now here's the temperature pattern. Let's move towards the high temperatures today. Things are going to be really nice for the eastern and the central United States as we see warmth surging up into these regions. Where it's stormy, that'll keep the temperatures a little bit lower. So again, we saw the storminess for the southeast. That's going to cool things off a little bit. A little bit more neutral. I wouldn't say necessarily cooler. It's cooler for the Rockies, but for overall for the west, it's a little bit neutral here. Near normal conditions is what I would say. For Friday, July 1st, we see the storminess kind of expand a little bit. But overall, for the eastern United States and the south central United States, very hot. We're seeing these reds pop up, which indicates 10 to 15 degrees above what your normal temperature is. Most of these areas, that will mean upper 80s and 90s, especially there in the northeast. So we're going to see very hot temperatures here on Friday, July 1st. What a way to get July started. July 2nd here, which will be Saturday, we see hot temperatures for a majority of the country, actually, at least 2 to 7 degrees above normal for most of these orange areas. The red areas is going to be more like 10 degrees above normal. So I see pockets of that like Texas and Oklahoma here. We see for the Ohio Valley here, we see some of that, and then some portions of the Rockies here. So we're seeing some above normal temperatures for quite a few spots there. Sunday, July 3rd here, we see quite a bit of these reds still showing up for the east. So it's still going to be really hot by Sunday, July 3rd here. A little bit cooler temperatures for the west. and even the north central United States with that storminess, like I mentioned. As we approach July 4th, we see very hot still in the east, and then very cool here for the west is kind of what we're taking a look at primarily. Tuesday, July 5th, we're still seeing the hot temperatures here in the southeast at least, and then cooler for the four corner states up through the west in general. Wednesday, July 6th, it's still neutral to cool here in the west. We're seeing hot temperatures mostly here for the central United States, and then more neutral for the east, as it's going to be quite stormy on July 6th. July 7th, it's still going to be stormy for these regions. That's why we're seeing the cooler temperatures. Things are warming up out west by this point, but it's still a little bit cool for some spots. The primary heat is going to be over the south central United States on this date, it appears, where we see very hot temperatures popping up, probably 90s and even 100s. They're popping up on Thursday, July 7th. Friday, July 8th, we see that continue. Maybe talking about a heat wave at this point for the south central United States, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas, where those reds and browns are showing up. And then for Saturday, July 9th, let's see if we see this continue. We do. So we're going to possibly be dealing with a heat wave down here coming up soon, maybe even expanding to these regions. So we're going to have to watch very closely for that. You need 3 days of like 90 degrees plus, and I think we're going to get that there if this ends up being correct. So we're going to pay close attention to that. Now, for tropical activity, let's take a look at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And as you can see, we have the 3 disturbances still. For this one, we still have a 40% chance of development over the next 48 and the next 5 days, the next 48 hours and the next 5 days. For this one down here, we have a 10% chance now through the next 5 days. So this one has gone down in probability. And then for our tropical, potential tropical cyclone 2, which still has not developed, let's take a look at that cone forecast. Here it is. We expect this one to stay a tropical storm now throughout the kind of Atlantic side of things, although there is a hurricane watch there on the Nicaragua coast, maybe even expanding to a little bit of Costa Rica coast. There's a tropical storm watch there in those yellows, and then tropical storm warnings over the blues. This one is still expected to become a tropical storm, but at this point it has taken so long. Again, I talked about for days and days and days how that South American interaction there that we see with that land was going to really be detrimental to this storm and cause it to not really be able to develop quite as well, and that's sure enough what we've ended up seeing. Let's take a look at the satellite imagery real quickly. Now we are taking a look at that satellite imagery, and things are looking really messy here, okay? We see not a lot of development, not a lot of organization. It's just all over the place. I don't personally think this storm is really close to becoming a tropical storm. It's going to take a while. It's going to have to look a lot different than this. This just looks like some scattered thunderstorms to me. This is not looking organized whatsoever, and not even close to a tropical storm in my opinion. Now let's take a look at the spaghetti model guidance for this one. As you can see, we do expect this one to hit between Nicaragua. There probably southern Nicaragua is most expected within the next 48 hours. It has 48 hours to become a tropical storm. I don't even know if it's going to happen at this point, although it is going to move over open water finally, and I think that could be when it becomes a tropical storm. There is a couple of models that are going absolutely crazy here that take it up this direction. That's definitely the outlier at this point. The majority of the models here take it very cleanly in this direction. So that's kind of the expectation at this point. Now for the model intensity guidance, as you can see, for the Atlantic side of things, we're expecting development, although we have for quite a while. This is probably when it hits land. This is when it moves back over the Pacific. We see it become a hurricane in the Pacific, where it will possibly reach Category 1, even maybe Category 2 and beyond status. So we're going to have to watch for that, obviously. It'll be much less of a threat to land, though, once it's in the Pacific, and we'll have less to worry about at that point for anybody over land at that point. Now, for the one offshore of Texas here is the satellite imagery, and things are also looking not quite as good as far as development on this one. It's looking better for the folks there in Texas, though. There's really good news here. It's looking less organized, less impactful at this point than it did as of yesterday, and this is going to be much more like scattered thunderstorms at this point. We are seeing it blow up near Galveston, Houston there over the last couple of hours, as you can see on the northern end. Here we see some explosive development, and that could lead towards some pretty bad pockets of thunderstorms, things of that nature. But at this point, the chance for this one to become a tropical storm, it's there, but it's not looking like it on paper right now, or on satellite imagery at least. Now for the spaghetti model guidance for this one, we can see that this one is expected to obviously move northward through Texas, I'm drawing a mean average line here, and then it's eventually going to exit out this way. Actually, and this is a pretty common track. What's going on here is, remember, we have this cold front that's expected here. Eventually, that cold front's going to kind of flatten out, and we will see the jet stream appear much more like this. So this storm is actually just hopping a ride on the jet stream at that point, and that's why that's happening here. And we obviously have a lot of warmth pushing this way in the Gulf. We've seen that with the thunderstorms, so that's going to kind of cause the storm to have to move around that area. That's why we see this track, and what it does here is kind of a question mark. It could develop offshore of the East Coast, but that's obviously pretty far in the future, at least 168 hours out or something like that. But that is the expectations at this point. As far as the intensity guidance here, what is interesting is we do have, obviously the mean average is that it's going to lower in intensity because it's going to hit very soon. But there is a couple that scrape it into that tropical storm status, so the chance is still there. Like I mentioned, we have two models, better yet, showing it become a tropical storm, and probably like 10 that are showing it not become a tropical storm. So yes, the odds are against it, but there is a chance at this point. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. Now, here's the day one categorical outlook, and as you can see, we have 3 general thunderstorm risks going on here, all in the lighter greens. And that's where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. We also have a marginal risk there in the darker green, and that's where we expect isolated severe weather to occur in there. And then we have that yellow area up there in the upper Midwest. That's our slight risk, and that's where we expect scattered severe weather to occur. That's for Thursday, June 30th, today. Now, for day 2 on Friday, July 1st, we have 2 general thunderstorm risks, one there for Washington and then one for everywhere else, basically. And that's, again, where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible. So, again, heed every watch, warning, and advisory. We have 3 marginal risk areas there going on in the darker greens, and that's where, again, we expect isolated severe weather to occur. Now, for day 3 that's going to be July 2nd, that's going to be Saturday, we have 1 very large general thunderstorm risk area where we, again, expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible. So, again, heed every watch, warning, and advisory. We have 2 marginal risk areas, one there for the Dakotas and then one there for the Northeast. That's, again, where we expect isolated severe weather. And then we have 1 slight risk area there in the yellow where we expect scattered severe weather to occur there for the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So we're going to be watching for that as well. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, I know I said I would be at a 5 out of 6 today, but now I'm feeling not that confident that our tropical cyclone will even become a tropical storm, so I'm not moving up to a 5 out of 6 only because I don't feel fully confident in that. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Larry the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Holly, Melissa Catbite, Charles Dennett, Bill Dallas, Garys, and John Khaleesi also. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Steam Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.